feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help, I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages, a vacant modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help, I had to do it all myself.
Chill.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
You don't wanna be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Sometimes collusion in the NFL is a good thing. Sometimes walking across the stage and bickering and getting your guys for $180 million is a good thing. However, when that collusion fails, when that $180 million does not provide a good quarterback, you ultimately have to bench your guy and move on. And that's exactly just what happened in Atlanta. Raheem Mostert, the Atlanta Falcons head coach, had just come out in the last 5 to 10 minutes saying that Kirk Cousins will be benched and Michael Penix Jr. will be starting for the Atlanta Falcons moving forward. This is coming fresh off of the win last night on Monday Night Football 15-9. This is coming off a 6-3 start, but this is also coming off a 3-game losing streak. So guys, when we ask the question later today in Factor Crap, if the Atlanta Falcons are the worst team in the NFL, we have to ask ourselves, was Kirk Cousins the ultimate downfall for the Atlanta Falcons? Was Kirk Cousins the ultimate black sheep of the family, as they like to say? At the end of the day, Kirk Cousins will get paid $180 million to sit the bench. At the end of the day, the Atlanta Falcons will probably miss the playoffs. At the end of the day, Michael Penix Jr. might, just might, be the diamond in the rough. Until then, who knows, who knows, who knows. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here of the Man Hour. Go to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, guys. Click on the shop pad. Get yourself some fresh new merch. We got a new shipper, so it does not take months to get stuff out there now. It's just a week. It is a week that's 7 to 10 days, right? Get your merch out there, so head over to manhourradio.com. Of course, manhour.co as well. Get your merchandise page, guys. Check it out. Check out the new and improved website as well. Guys, it is Tuesday. NFL Power Rankings night is here. But of course, we got to talk a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap as well. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Are they the new number one seed? Fact or crap? Do they get the number one overall seed in the NFC playoff picture? How about this? Caleb Williams. He needs to be benched now. And Atlanta Falcons. Are they legit the worst team in the NFL? Are they the worst team in the NFL? We got that factor crap happening tonight. And, of course, we got the NFL Power Rankings as well. Before we do get too carried away, we got to welcome some people in the chat. We got to welcome Mrs. Pigskin Punter herself, Mrs. Laura Johnson-Hedricks in the chat. What's up, Laura? She says, good evening, y'all. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We got my man John Pebbles in the chat as well. The CFO of the Pigskin Punters. Guys, be like John, click on the subscribe button down below. You get a little insights, you get a bit of this, you get a bit of that. You get a lot of stuff happening over there if you become a Pigskin Punters just like John. We also got my man Derek in the chat. He says, good evening, good evening, good evening. He says, are you guys live tonight? Yes, we are live tonight, Derek. We are live, raw and uncut here on Tuesday. And guys, we got my man Mark D in the chat. He is with me with the toxic table. Losing train of thought here. Everybody get out there and give Mark a big old happy birthday. You're listening tonight. We got the CEO of the Pigskin Punters says crap. I don't care what it is, says Jim, but he says crap. And then we got 4-year anniversary follower Casey Morganson that says, what's up, Casey? Hope you're having a grand old day, man. Hope you're having a grand old day. But before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people into the live show, guys. We got to welcome some people into the show. The Toxic Rant Time is here, and we got to welcome the top guy over there, the top guy on the right, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the guy that thinks the Denver Broncos are the greatest thing since sliced bread. That is Mr. Mark D. What's up, Mark?
What's up, Man Hour Nation? What up, everybody? John, Laura, everybody that's the loyal listeners to the Man Hour. I love seeing you guys. Speaking of the merch, like you were talking about before you joined the show, I did a bad thing and I said some wrong stuff, and I have some fines that me and Buck have to pay now. So any merch, any proceeds that I get from the Fugazi sweatshirt, please let that go to that Buck.
All right. So we did get a little FCA fine last Tuesday. We actually ended up getting 5 fines, so $7,500 in total. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But the reason why we mainly got fined, the main reason we got dinged, was because of this bald man over here, the man that thinks he has the greatest hairline ever. But let's just be honest, it is terrible. The middle is always open though. John freaking Hoffman, what's up, Hoffy?
What's up, boys? Great to be here. I am pumped, ready to keep my potty mouth in check as well as keep YouTube bias mother truckers in check.
All righty. Let's see if that gets through or not. But hey, it is what it is, guys. If you guys are hearing any type of audio issues, just let us know in the comments below, and I'll try to get that squared away. But we also got my man Alpha Rob's in the chat tonight as well, guys. Hoffy, you love you some Alpha Rob because you are now a Buffalo Bills fan, and Alpha Rob's on cloud 9 after beating the Detroit Lions last Sunday. So definitely what's up. And Laura says, what fine? Laura, what you don't know, or you should know, we are on the radio here on Big X Sports Radio 96.1 here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. And every time something slips through, the F word, the D word, other words that can't be said because apparently the producer over there at Big X likes to be sleeping on the job. But every time something goes through on the airways, it's a $1,500 fine. So it is. And then Jim Powell says Hoffy should get an FCC violation just for owning a mirror. Not wrong. Got Cameron Johnson in the chat, says greeting from Kansas City. What's up? And Laura says it is kind of echoing, so I will try to fix that, guys, throughout the show. But let's go ahead and get started with today's show. We are going to go to the NFL Power Rankings here, guys, in about half hour, 45 minutes. So stick tuned if you guys are sticking here strictly for the Power Rankings. But we're going to start the show off with a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. If you guys do not know what fact or crap it is very, very simple. I've been scouring the old interwebs over there on Facebook.com and Twitter.com or X.com, whatever you want to call it, right? And I've been seeing what people are saying. I've been seeing what the people are talking about. I've been seeing what they've been doing, whatever. So we're going to determine if it is a fact or if it is a crap. So Mark, Hoffy, are you guys ready for a little bit of fact or crap?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. As I will try to fix the echo as we go through the show here. So guys, bear with me on the echo. But number one, fact or crap of the day. Guys, clearly the Vikings are one of the hottest teams in the NFL. The Vikings are currently in a 3-way tie for first place in the NFC playoff race with the Eagles and Lions sitting at 12-2. If they win out, they have a 98% chance of getting that first overall seed. Why is it not 100%? Because of 4 and 5 tiebreakers way down the line. But they pretty much should get the number 1 overall seed if they win out. However, though, Mark, they do have the second hardest schedule remaining in the NFL. So we got to ask this question. Fact or crap, will the Vikings get the number 1 overall seed?
You know what? Sorry, Laura, but this is crap. They're not getting it. Their strength of schedule is tough. They got to play Seattle, they got to play Green Bay, and Detroit. I don't see them winning out with those 3 teams. I'm sorry. Those are all playoff, so I don't see them doing that. And then Philly, they have an easier road. They have Washington. I can kind of see them winning out and getting the number 1 seed.
So you see who getting the number 1 seed? I'm sorry, I was trying to fix the audio.
Philly.
So you think the Philly are going to get the number 1 seed? Hoffy, fact or crap? Do the Vikings get the number 1 overall seed?
I'm not going to get myself in trouble, so I'm saying this is cap. I don't think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to be the 1 seed. I think they're going to be a wild card. And I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw potentially in the first round, whether it's against a la the NFC West Rams or the Buccaneers. So I think they're a one and done in the playoffs as a wild card.
So you guys are both saying that it is crap indeed that the Vikings will get the number 1 overall seed. However, guys, I have been deemed this Vikings hater, right? People are commenting from a video from early in September when I said, hey, the flaws are there in the Minnesota Vikings, and they are going to lose the next 2 games, if not 3 games. I was spot on about that. Mark, you have been not on the Minnesota Vikings way down. John is not the reverb, but we digress. With that being said, the Minnesota Vikings guys have been fugazi most of the year. The Minnesota Vikings have been showing their flaws most of the season. However, they are playing really, really good football right now. They have won 7-8 games in a row. And they do have the second hardest schedule, beating the Seahawks, which are or they play the Seahawks next, which is going to be down Geno Smith. They do play the Packers, which will probably be by default NFC North Championship game, and then they do play the Detroit Lions, which I said it on Monday's show that they might be the next Philadelphia Eagles. So from 2023 with epic, pretty much fighting for the playoff lives. The Cowboys might make the playoffs. The Cowboys will probably make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. So slow it down, baby. Guys, it would not shock me one bit. It would not shock me one bit if the Minnesota Vikings do get the number 1 overall seed, because I am waiting for a loss from the Philadelphia Eagles. Not because they just play bad, just because a hiccup is coming, whether it's to the Commanders or Cowboys or Giants. A hiccup is coming at this particular point. So, Mark, when you look at the Vikings moving forward and you look at the Eagles, who needs the number 1 seed more?
Honestly, I would say Minnesota, maybe, I guess, because they have a crazy fan base there in Minnesota. Not to say that Philly doesn't, but they've kind of been there, done that already, so Minnesota hasn't. So maybe I'd say Minnesota.
Hoffy, who do you think needs the number 1 seed more?
You're going to get mad at me because I'm going to waffle around this, but I think it's equally important for both teams out of the NFC North to get that home field advantage, because I don't think either team can go into Philly, or into an outdoor stadium, and that's kind of where I run into Minnesota running into a buzzsaw, whether it's in LA or whether it's in Tampa Bay. Yes, I get it. The stadium, the weather is nice in those areas, but I think they're a dome kind of team. They're the type of offense that both teams run. Whereas the Eagles can go into you can get into a dogfight with the Eagles, and the Eagles will be fine. I think, either team in the NFC North has to be, playing at home in order for them to beat a Philadelphia Eagles team.
Yeah, guys. So I think I fixed the audio issue. Mark, it was coming from your speakers, not from your headphones. So I switched it to your headphones. So let me know if you can hear us still or not.
I can, yes.
Okay, so I think I fixed the audio issue, guys. But guys, let's see what the people are saying over here in the comments below. So guys, it is fact or crap, like Laura is saying. Do the Minnesota Vikings get the number 1 overall seed? And Alpha Rob is saying crap. He says no way, no how are the Minnesota Vikings getting the number 1 seed. It's going to be the Detroit Lions, baby. No, he didn't say that, but he did say crap. Laura said Vikings are gonna win out, but won't get the number 1 seed. Laura, listen. If the Vikings win out, they beat the Seahawks, they beat the Packers, and they beat the Lions, and they don't get the number 1 overall seed, you guys are destined to fail. I'm just going to put that out there 100%. You guys are destined to fail at that particular point. So I'm just saying that. Jim is saying Lions or Vikes can't handle the Eagles. So stop the crap. It is so crap. So crap. John said, look, crap. So this is what the people are doing. They want to call Laura out because she is a Minnesota Vikings fan, but then they want to suck up to her, like, sorry, like, please don't hate me, because Laura's going to come with that heat, but says it is crap, right? It is crap. Whatever. Josh Olson says no, they will lose to Seattle this Sunday. Shots fired right there. Seattle will probably be without Geno Smith. All of his ligaments are intact from that low blow from the Packers on Sunday. But Mark, can the Seahawks win without Geno Smith?
I don't know. Was it Sam Howell? He didn't look very good in the cleanup duty when he came in. So I don't know, man. I don't got much faith in that guy. He's been tossed around as from a draft pick. Like, I don't know. I kind of see Minnesota rolling still over the Seahawks.
Hoffy, can the Seahawks win without Geno Smith?
No, I think Sam Howell is garbage. But you're calling that a low hit? You think that was a dirty hit, Buck?
I'm not saying it was a dirty hit. I'm just saying it was just a low hit. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
No.
I mean, he jumped up. So
yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not calling that hit dirty at all. I'm just saying it was just a low hit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember Sam Hall coming out of college, and a lot of people were high up on him. And, the Commanders thought that they had themselves a quarterback out of North Carolina. I didn't think he was very good then. I still don't think he's very good. He played quite. And I think he was throwing just as many interceptions as touchdowns. So, no, I have no faith in him in the Seahawks offense.
Alrighty, guys. Like I said, we are experiencing technical issues. So, guys, I'm trying to figure out as we are doing it. So if you hear weird sounds, just like we just did there, I apologize for that. I apologize. Alpha Rob says Sam Darnold in his first playoff game on the road. Do not trust him at all. If they get the number one overseed Alpha Rob, he'll be at home all through the playoffs. So I don't know. I'm just saying. Ryan Skitty Dicker is Skitty Dicker.
You're fine.
It said it's a no-brainer. Look at their depth chart. Vikings and Bills in the Super Bowl. Oh man, Ryan. Slow it down, baby. First of all, the Vikings are not going to get past the divisional round. Second of all, the Buffalo Bills will not get past their first round playoff game. Whether they're the number one overseed, whether they're the 3 seed, it doesn't matter. They're not getting past their first game because the Denver Broncos are coming in the first round. Second seed versus second seed, going to knock the Buffalo Bills off. So slow it down, baby.
Even you don't believe that, Buck.
And not him says.
I was just gonna say, Buck. Are you sure? Are you sure you believe that?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm just saying. Sorry, I am trying to multitask here. Casey says they sound like announcers from a monster truck rally. Yeah, and I don't understand why. Because honestly, sometimes it sounds good, and then sometimes you guys go back to echoey, and then sometimes it's like it sounds good. I don't know.
It's because Mark hasn't hit puberty yet.
But you're echoing right now, Huffy. So I'm not for sure what is going on. It's honestly
it's a you problem, not a me problem.
It is. It is very much a me problem, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I can't figure it out. And have you guys ever tried to troubleshoot on the run and not want to mess stuff up? But whatever.
Some IT person you are.
Hey, you sound good now. So there we go.
Let's just roll. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, until I clip it out and it sounds so terrible, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on. The next factor crap of the day, we're going to go up to Chicago. As you guys see, Caleb Williams is not a very happy camper right there sitting on the bench. But Caleb Williams so far this season, guys, has been sacked 58 times so far this season. He's a third highest sacked among rookie quarterbacks throughout the career, right? Last night we see him with the look of defeat on the sidelines after a huge hit. So, Mark, fact or crap, does Caleb Williams need to be benched for the rest of the season?
I'm going to say crap, but with a caveat, because I think the main reason, so he's on this streak right now where he hasn't thrown a pick in 7 games. And I think, to me, that kind of sounds like he's playing too safe and he's not taking enough risks. I think he needs to go back to the old Caleb and go back to gunslinger in it, and maybe he could bring some fire back. I don't think you bench him, but you gotta talk him up. You gotta change some stuff.
So you gotta talk him up. You gotta give him confidence while still playing game and getting his ass whooped. But okay, Hoffy, fact or crap? Should Caleb Williams be benched?
Crap. I don't think that he should be benched. I mean, he's got an 87.7 QB, rating. I mean, he's not playing bad. He's got 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. As a rookie, I'll take those numbers. I think it's just a problem with the offensive line and, in the coaching staff. I don't think that this coaching staff is capable of running an offense or running a team at all. I mean, they've already fired their head coach. They need to fire every single one of their coaching staff. I think Ben Johnson comes in from the Detroit Lions, and this is a complete different offense. But I don't think the problem's Caleb Williams. I think it's the offensive line.
So you guys are saying you should not bench him, is what you're saying?
No, you're going to kill his confidence.
So you say he's going to kill his confidence. What happened to Bryce Young after he got benched?
He actually played better, so that is a good call.
Playing some of the best football of his career. Should have beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Should have beat the Buccaneers. Should have beat the Eagles, right? I mean, should have, could have, would have, right? What if? But he's playing some of the best football after he has been benched, right? Anthony Richardson. What happened after he got benched? Playing some of the best football of his career. Let's just be honest. I mean, it's not a large sample, but some of the best football of his career. Guys,
Yeah, but
Still
those
going
guys-
50%, Buck.
Those guys played themselves out of a job. Caleb Williams hasn't done anything to warrant being benched. He's not playing bad. Richardson and Bryce Young were both playing bad, and they needed to be sat. Caleb Williams hasn't shown that.
Hoffy, Caleb is hanging onto the ball 5 seconds per drop back. The NFL average is 3.7. He is hanging on the ball a full second and almost a half longer than anybody else in the NFL. And he's paying the price for it over and over and over again. 58 times to be exact. Guys, Caleb Williams needs to be benched just to save himself from himself at this particular point, right? Look at this picture. He looks like a very defeated man. He looks like a man's like, man, I just got diddied, right? And I don't know what to do. And it just like, that is just where we're at. We are in the point where, like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I need to take a step back. Maybe, just maybe, I should try to unsend that text message that I sent our punter back on draft night saying, hey, you're probably not going to get the punt very, very, very much. The punter is the leading, the most number of punts in the NFL so far this season. But I think it is a fact. I think it is a fact that he does need to get benched. So, guys, in the comments below, let us know. Fact or crap, does Caleb Williams need to get benched? Casey Morgan says he needs to say gravedigger. Okay. Laura says Williams took a night. Caleb Williams took a nap last night. Night, sucker. And Jim Powell might have just broke the internet, guys. Jim Powell may have just had the comment of the night. He says, it is Chicago. Who cares? But it is a fact. Not wrong. Alpha Rob says,
clumsy.
Alpha Rob says, crap, but he was crying. He took a big shot, Alpha Rob. You take a shot in your ribs like that when throwing the ball. Hell, I cry when my 4-year-old son nut tats me. Just a little boop. Like, I am on my knees. Like, think about getting hit in the ribs like that over and over and over. It's just, come on, man. It is terrible, right? John says, kind of wondering with him being a owner, how does he feel about that? He's not an owner. Good ladder. Get out of here with that. Alpha Rob says, give him some new nail polish. He'll be just fine. Mark, you know all about nail polish. What color of nail polish does Caleb Williams need to be successful in the NFL?
Dude, he just like after talking about this and listening to some points that you made, I think you're right. He probably does need to be benched. Like you said, he just needs to get out of his own way and maybe sit in a couple weeks and maybe just sit and learn being on the bench. Maybe that's what he needs. I don't know. Like, I kind of want to see that guy, Tyler Bagent. He's the backup guy that would play if they bench him. And I thought he looked pretty good in the preseason. So, I don't know. Give him a time. Give him a break. Maybe that's what he needs.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 years ago. Combsy and I sat right here. He was all up on Justin Fields, saying about how great he was. Justin Fields on any other team would be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, yada, yada, yada. And I said, Taysom Bagent looks better for the Chicago Bears than Justin Fields did at the time. And Taysom Bagent's not a bad quarterback. And I don't know why he does not get more of a chance. And John says it is crap. He needs the playing time. So, John, let me counter this, okay? So when you say, so everybody needs playing time. Everybody needs those minutes on the field, right? To basically learn the ropes, learn the game speed, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, you need quality playing time. When you are consistently running for your life, when you're consistently making stupid reads, when you're consistently getting battered, beaten, and bruised, that's not the playing time that you need. Hoffy, you know about getting battered and beaten and bruised when the middle is open on your side. Does Caleb Williams need playing time or quality playing time? Like, if he needs playing time, it has to be quality playing time, right?
Yeah, but I stand by the fact that I don't think he's played himself out of a starting position. I think, if anything, the entire offensive line's played himself out. I get he's holding on to the ball for 5 seconds, but that's because his offensive weapons aren't getting open.
Or he's just not reading the ball quick enough, right? The NFL is boom, boom, boom. You cannot wait till somebody's wide open like he did at USC. But Derek says they do need an offensive line coach. And Derek, It was not long ago, in a lands not so far long ago, I want to say back in September, October timeframe, the Chicago Bears had a top 5 offensive line per PFF. Now, since then, they're a little bit worse, like 29th, but they are.
Little.
You are correct. They need an offense. They just need a direction, right? They need a direction. They need some fundamentals. They need something, right? I don't know what it is, but they need something. And Laura says the Bears need leadership. Mark, do you think that is the missing ingredient in Chicago is just pure leadership?
As we talk about this, like, the thing that comes to my mind, dude, is what's going to save Caleb Williams? Because at this point, that's what they need. They need someone to help this kid be successful, because that's what's going to make them successful. So they need to figure that out. So who's the guy that's going to come in and help Caleb?
Ben Johnson.
Is Ben Johnson the answer, Hoffy?
Ben Johnson.
Knowing the Chicago Bears, they're going to hire a defensive-minded coach. It's going to be Robert Saleh or Mike Vrabel. And then they are going to go through Caleb Williams next 2 seasons. He's just going to be dog crap crazy, right? They're going to cut him, release him, trade him, whatever. They're going to draft the other guy. Mike Vrabel gets fired the next season. It's just vicious cycle that's going on there in Chicago. Josh Olson says crap, and the Bears aren't going anywhere this season. Regular season is almost over. The Bears have been out of the playoff picture for a few weeks now, Josh. You are correct. They are not going anywhere besides top 5 draft pick at this particular point. Laura says, facts, sit him down, fix him down. John says he needs to go to the Peyton Manning quarterback school. How to throw sacks and get and throw a league-leading interceptions your rookie year. Peyton Manning School 101, right there. Laura says Caleb Williams needs a little Kevin O'Connell in his life. Okay.
I would agree.
She's all about them Vikings tonight.
Yeah, she loves them. Brady says good player, terrible front office. I don't think the front office is the issue. It's the coaching staff in general, right? Name me one player that the Bears have developed. Can't name one, can you? Go ahead, Hup.
I think it is the front office, though, Buck. Like, that's why they haven't done anything over all these years, man, because they don't know how to draft and develop players. Like, that's why they've never had a good quarterback that's thrown over 3,000 yards. It's ridiculous. Like, why is that? It's because of their ownership. I read that Harbaugh really wanted to go there initially before going to the Chargers, and he turned it down because he doesn't get along with their chairman. I forget his name, Kevin something, and the guy that runs the Bears. And so it's like he pushed away a good coach, and now, like, you think that guy's gonna help you be successful? No.
What does Ryan Poles, the GM, have to do with developing a player? I mean, he traded with he fleeced the Carolina Panthers, got Caleb Williams, got the wide receiver out of Washington. I don't think that the GM is the problem. You can point the problem of him not getting an offensive line for his quarterback, but as far as the trades and building this team, I think it falls on the coaching staff.
Mark, what are your thoughts on that?
I wasn't saying Ryan Poles. I'm talking people ahead of him, the ownership and the chairman who runs the team, who's above Ryan Poles, who's above his pay grade. I'm talking about them. They're the ones that push away good talent, like I said, like John Harbaugh, who's single-handedly gone into the Chargers and turned them around. He's a culture changer. That's what they needed there, and they totally pushed him away. So as long as that guy's there, as long as ownership's there, they're going to keep pushing away good people.
So it sounds like they need a coach, right? A coach to come in there and change the culture. But
something, yes. And maybe Vrabel's the guy, because I feel like he's a strong-minded dude. I feel like he could maybe bring in an offensive guy to help Caleb, and he can run the team.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels.
Probably not.
It's not a bad idea.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man. All right, guys.
He's a good coordinator. He's not a good head coach.
Well, that's what they need is a head coach. So Ryan says, LOL, Vikings Super Bowl champions. I will sign it and go to numbers on offense, defense, and GM. We're not talking about those. We will be talking about the Vikings very much so coming up here in about 10 minutes when we start the power rankings, Ryan. So stay tuned to that. Nacho says he needs a good quarterback coach. He needs a good offensive coordinator. An offensive coordinator that's not going to make too complex of a system, right? Easy reads, nickel and diamond down the field. Jim Powell says the Bears are the Raiders in the aspect of the quarterback development is non-existent. Correct. But it is what it is. So, guys, let's move on to the final factor crap of the day. We are going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons. As you guys know by now, Kirk Cousins has been benched in replacement for Michael Penix Jr. However, the Falcons broke their 3-game losing streak in a victory over the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football, 15-9. They did, however, nearly let the Raiders win the game with 2, let's call them Hail Mary passes. They were basically 40-yard pass completions or pass attempts into the end zone. Guys, the Falcons are now 7-7 on the season with a 36% chance to make the playoffs. Reminder, I just want to put this out there for all you Falcons fans. This team was going to go to the Super Bowl back in week 4. This team was going to be on cloud 9 in week 7. But since then, they are a dumpster fire. So, Mark, I'm going to ask you this question first. Fact or crap, are the Falcons the worst team in the NFL?
I don't know about the worst, but they're definitely the worst of all these teams that are so-called in the playoff race in the NFC. And I got to tell you, dude, at the beginning of the year, I had no faith in Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. I never thought they were going to do shit. Oh, sorry. And they came out and they haven't done anything. And so they basically approved my prediction.
Yeah. Hoffy.
No, I mean, I don't think they're the worst team. I mean, they just beat the Raiders, so wouldn't that mean the Raiders are at least the worst team? And I haven't been high on them at all this season. But when you're paying Kirk Cousins the money that you're paying, and he's got nearly as many interceptions as touchdowns, that's just a recipe for a benching.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Kirk Cousins has been playing some of the worst football I've ever seen Kirk Cousins play. So with that being said, guys, fact or crap, are they the worst team in the NFL? I have to say fact. I have to say fact because of their recent body of work. 3-game losing streak to a lot of nobodies, right? Including your Denver Broncos, Mark. The Broncos flat out whooped that ass. They said, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby. And not only is Kirk Cousins playing bad, this experiment of Kyle Pitts and London, and they've been there, 4 or 5 years now, right? And they haven't done crap either, right? Now, they do have Bijan that's coming around. Maybe Michael Penix Jr. is just a spark that they needed. Should have put him in about 3 weeks ago, but I digress from that. But, guys, the Falcons are the worst team in the NFL. You are saying, though, the Giants and the Jets and the Raiders and whatever. If the Raiders did not have their 4-string quarterback in there, they would have won that game. Let's just be honest. The Jets would beat the Falcons head-to-head right now. The Giants are not a bad team. They got a pretty good defense. They would beat the Falcons head-to-head right now. The Dallas Cowboys would beat the Atlanta Falcons head-to-head right now. The playoff-bound Dallas Cowboys, I might add. But, guys, this is simple fact. Mark, I see your wheels are turning. You are thinking. What do you want to say?
It's your Cowboys takes, bro. I'm telling you, they're not going to playoffs. But but what's sad though, dude, is that even though the Falcons are this bad, because their division is so horrible, they still have a chance to make the playoffs. That's what's sad about the whole thing.
Yeah, it is very, very sad. But guys, in the comments below, fact or crap, are the Atlanta Falcons the worst team in the NFL? And Jim says, whatever it is, I don't care. It's the Atlanta Falcons, but it is crap. They're not the worst team in the NFL. Okay. Nacho Gomez says Cousins belongs in the trash. And I would concur with that to an extent. There are probably 10 to 12 teams out there, Mark and Hoffy, that would love to have Kirk Cousins right now. Am I wrong?
No.
One of them being the Chicago Bears. One of them being the Miami Dolphins. One of them being the New York Football Giants. I'm just saying.
Not the Bears.
I don't know.
The Giants, maybe. The Raiders, absolutely.
Yes.
Other than that, I think you're hard-pressed to find one.
Okay. PMP says the Lions got some tricks, but you can keep scoring and you'll beat them. We'll be talking about the Lions PMP very, very soon here on our Power Rankings, so stay tuned to that. Alpha Rob says, slow it down, baby. The Giants are the worst team in the NFL. And I said, slow it down now for Rob. The Giants are not a bad team. The Giants are legit a quarterback away. If they would stick to a freaking quarterback, whether it's Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock or Daniel Jones or whoever it might be, they would probably be a 7-8 win team. The Giants defense is pretty good. Hoffy, stop shaking your head. You know the Giants are pretty good, right?
No.
No, they are. They are.
They are not good. Yes, if they had a solid quarterback, that would definitely turn things around. But that they'd be on the fringe of a playoff spot at best.
Alpha Rob does say it is good as crap. Laura says, cousin is the worst $180 ever spent. And Laura, I raise you the war on Ukraine. Too soon? Too soon. Too soon.
Well, currently Vegas has number 1 pick. Giants have number 2.
Really? I thought the Giants had the tiebreaker on the number 1 draft.
I follow this thing called Tinkathon, and they always monitor all the losses and all the tiebreakers and everything. So yeah, Vegas 1, Giants 2.
Interesting. Derek says, when they paid him, they drafted a quarterback. It was bound to fail. No, they knew Michael
100%.
Penix Jr. was a project and development, and it is what it is. Josh also says the Giants are the worst team in the NFL. Guys, stop dogging the Giants. They're good. They're good. Laura
You yourself don't believe that. Come on. Be real with yourself.
They wouldn't have the number 2 pick if they were good, Buck.
Well, it's called because they're tankathoning, right? Let's just be honest.
Oh, well, that's what it is.
Laura Johnson says, I'm so thankful the Vikings did not pay him that kind of money. Skull Nation. Not wrong. Josh
They're
also,
going to pay Sam Darnold, though.
they're not going to pay Sam Darnold. They're going to franchise tag him with the $45 million and call it a day. Josh said Dallas already lost to the Falcons. That was 3 months ago, Josh. It's a different day. The NFL changes from week to week to week, a new season every week, legitimately. Derek says the NFC West needs some flowers. That's a rough division. I think you mean the South. The South is a very, very rough division. John says, crap. They're not the worst team. And John says, slow it down, Buck. Atlanta beats Dallas. Not right now. No, we're not. No.
I thought you gave up on the Dallas. I thought you threw in your flag, but come on, man.
Listen, just because we broke up, it doesn't mean you have to talk bad about your
Oh,
ex.
so you're getting back together. Okay, I got it.
I mean, as Taylor Swift says, I'm a very Swifty type of person. We are never, ever, ever getting back together until
They're not getting back together again, but he still looks at them,
Yeah.
on his phone at the end of the day.
What is
Little circle jerk.
what does Stone Sour say, Hoffy? Looking at you through the glass. Man, I am good with songs today.
Don't know how much time has passed.
Yeah, it has been 45 minutes since we started this
Feels like forever.
stream, guys. But guys, let's get into some NFL power rankings. Are you guys ready for some power rankings?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So every Tuesday over here at manhourradio.com and of course manhour.co, we do a little thing called the NFL power rankings. I release these power rankings and they will be out very, very soon over here on facebook.com and of course youtube.com/manhour. But before you get too carried away, guys, I want you guys to click on the subscribe button below. I want you guys to become a pigskin pundit. You get behind the scenes footage, you get after hours footage. Just like tonight, we'll be doing an after hours pigskin pundit only stream. We all get to hang out, shoot the shit, and we get to sing Mark happy birthday because he's turning like 57 today. Happy birthday to you, my man Mark D. But guys, click on the subscribe button, become a pigskin pundit. $4.99 a month. It gets you a free hoodie or a free clothing 2 times a year, behind the scenes footage, and free entry into our NFL pick'em. So guys, please become a pigskin pundit today. But let's go ahead and get into the NFL power rankings. So guys, coming in at number 10, I have a team that is clicking on all cylinders right now. I have a team that many people thought they were dead in the water after losing Chris Godwin earlier this season. They actually were on a 4-game losing streak to the Ravens, Falcons, beating the Las Vegas Raiders, and beating the LA Chargers handily last week. And that is coming in at number 10, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I love this one, Buck. I've been telling you, you've been high on Baker and the Bucks. They should have been on the power rankings last week, just my opinion. This is one thing I got to say about them. Okay, so the Chargers, They played the Chargers last week. The Chargers haven't let anybody score on them, score 30 points on them all year. And Tampa just walks in and scores 40. So they are like a team that are really hot right now. They're a team you don't want to play. And I like this.
Coffee.
Yeah, I back it. I mean, with the amount of injuries that this team has faced all year, and yes, they're just 8-6. It is a weak division, but much like your Chiefs last year, towards the end of the season, they kind of found their groove. The Bucks have been playing real well. They're looking good. Like Mark said, they just walked into LA and dog walked the Chargers. So yeah, I like this one, and I could see them even higher.
Yeah, to be totally honest, when I was making these power rankings, full disclosure, I send these power rankings to my dad first, and let him be critical, right? Just because that's what dads are there for, right? They're very, very critical of everything that you do. I love you, pops, but f you at the same time, right? But when I gave him the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 10, he's like, yeah, they have won 4 games in a row, but look who have they played. They played the Giants. You guys all deemed they're the worst team in the NFL. They played the Carolina Panthers, one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Chargers, the second, or sorry, the Raiders, the second worst team in the NFL. And then they did walk the Chargers at LA last week. However, the Chargers are not that very good either. So, as I do agree with you guys, right? These are my power rankings. I put them at number 10. I can very, very see why people would be justifiably, why are they not in somebody like the LA Rams, which, Mark, you are very high on the Rams. Would you put the Rams over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No, I wouldn't put them over Tampa, but I would put them next to them, at least 9 or 10.
Hoffy, what about you?
I think the Bucks and the Rams are 10A and 10B. But I mean, you yourself said the Giants aren't bad, and you also talked about Bryce Young playing a lot better.
Yep.
And they did beat the dog breaks off of the Giants. It was a close game to Carolina, but division games are always tough games. They beat the Raiders pretty convincingly, and then they just beat the Chargers, who their defense has been great all year. So I think that it's justifiable.
Yeah, and guys, let's just not get twisted about it. When the Bucks went on their 4-game losing streak, they lost Chris Godwin. The following game, they lost Mike Evans to a hamstring issue, which he's now back from. And honestly, they are the only team to really truly beat down the Detroit Lions. They are truly the only team to really beat down and embarrass the Philadelphia Eagles. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers guys are a team that you definitely do not want to play in the playoffs, and that is why I do have them coming in at number 10 on my NFL power rankings. Coming up is the number 9 team, is a team that is 10-4 and first place in the AFC North. They did lose last week to the Philadelphia Eagles, but before that, they have won 2 of 3, and they have won 7 of their last 8. This is a team that has very, very small margin of error, right? Either they're really, really good or they're really, really, really bad. And that is why I ultimately dropped down this team from top 5 last week all the way down to number 9 this week is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, so I think the Rams should be in this spot. Like you said, the Steelers have either been really good or really bad. But lately, they've been really bad. They haven't had George Pickens. I think that's really a miss for them. Like, they really need that guy. But let me just give you some stats about the Rams and why I think they should be on the list. I think they're also one of those teams that you don't want to play. Last 2 games, they've had no turnovers, no sacks allowed in the last 2 games, and they've been 7-2 since their bye week.
Hoffy, go ahead.
And it was a two possession game. But I don't even think it was that close. I think the Eagles pretty convincingly, showed the flaws in the Steelers, and I think that you discussed it. I forget who you said earlier was going to turn into last year's Eagles. I could see this Steelers team turning into last year's Eagles, or was it 2020 when the Steelers started like 11-1, finished at like 11-5, and got bounced in the first round?
I don't remember, to be honest, Huffy. I was trying to mess with audio, so I only heard about about a third of what you said. So I definitely apologize for that, guys. But Laura says we can't
It
hear
was
Huff.
2021.
Are you talking about the Steelers when they started off, 11-0 or 10-0?
I think it was like 9-0 or something. They finished 9-7-1.
Yeah. But Mike Tomlin did have another winning year. So sorry about that, guys. I was trying to fix the audio. It was echoing super bad there for a little bit, but hopefully we do get it squared away. Derek asks, didn't TJ Watt get hurt? Yes, he does have a sprained ankle, the last I knew, but he should be good. Time for playoffs, and playoffs is all that matters, right? These games right now are all cupcake games. Let's just be honest. But coming in at number 9, we do have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming up next is a team that had kind of dead in the water since their bye week, right? Since their 5-game winning streak, they lost to the Browns, and they were a 500 team. They go on the bye week, they come back after the bye, and they beat a fairly decent New York Giants team at MetLife Stadium, and that is the 9-5 Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, guys, are currently second in the AFC North in the AFC North race, sitting at 9-5. That is the Baltimore Ravens coming in at number 8.
I think this is the perfect spot for them because they've not played well as of recent. Like they've kind of dropped from beginning of your power rankings of weeks ago to like now that they're 7th on the list. And I just really want to see them do well in the playoffs. They haven't had that playoff success. Like I think part of the reason why they haven't played well, like as of late, is because I think they haven't used Derrick Henry as much. Like they're not getting that production out of him. I don't know if they're like saving him for the playoffs or something, but that's not helping them win games down the stretch.
Yeah, saving Derrick Henry is not a good thing when you're trying to get a home playoff game, but it is what it is. Hoffy, what do you think about Ravens sitting at number 8?
Yeah, I think that's right where they belong. I mean, they've been all over the place from, losing, the first week by a touchdown to Kansas City. That's, that was a good game, respectable. But then losing at home to the Raiders, they then beat Dallas by a field goal, and then they beat the brakes off of Buffalo, who's, one of the best teams in the league, and then close game to the Bengals. So they've been all over the place from looking like a world beater to looking like a team that, shouldn't be in the playoffs. So I think that right there in the middle of the pack is where they belong.
Yeah, so jumping over here into the comments, my CEO of the Picks and Punters, Jim, says, how are the Baltimore Ravens still top 10? A fairly decent Giants team? What? Guys, the Giants defense is not bad. Let's just be honest. The Giants defense does have some pretty good players out there, right?
Buck is high on those Giants tonight.
I am high on the.
He's high on something.
I'm high on the Giants defense. I like their front seven. I think their front seven is pretty good. But Baltimore is definitely a top 10 team. And Jim, I think the Baltimore Ravens proved on Sunday that they might be getting back to their old winning ways. Now, will it repeat into, I believe they play the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? This Sunday or Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. We will see how that translates. But I think right now, number 8 for the Baltimore Ravens is a nice, solid pick. So, Jim, I got to ask you the question. If you do not like them in the top 10, who would you replace them with? Mark, any ideas of who you would possibly replace the Ravens with if they were outside of the top 10?
Well, I've seen other lists that have the Commanders on there, the Commander skins, as I call them. They might be a team that people might want on there. Like I said, we talked about the Rams. The Rams haven't been on your list, so I don't know. Maybe those two teams.
Hoffy, any idea?
No. I mean, You could talk about the Rams, but I think they beat the Rams. You could talk about the Commanders. I think they're better than the Commanders.
Yep.
I get that they lost to the Steelers, and the Steelers have a better record, and they're in first. But I still think this team, they lost to the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Again, division game. It doesn't matter the record. They always play pretty tough. But I still think that this team is better than Pittsburgh, regardless of the records. That's how I feel. And I think that this week they'll beat the Steelers, and come playoff time, Lamar Jackson will probably show Lamar Jackson things and get bounced. But on paper, this is a much better team than, the Steelers. So I think that they are deserving of the spot that they're in. They've definitely underperformed, but they're still a top 10 team.
Yeah. So, guys, I figured out my audio issue. It is my internet. My internet is sending out bad frame rate right now. So that is why we're having audio issues. So, guys, I definitely apologize for that 100%. But coming in at number 8, we do have the Baltimore Ravens. Now, coming in at number 7 is a team that is the biggest faller of the week. The team that has went from the best team in last week's NFL power rankings all the way down to number 7. This team was on a 11-game losing streak before losing to the Buffalo Bills 48-42 last Sunday. Now, the main reason why I have them falling down so far is because of their injury issues. I understand the system. I understand next man up. I understand this, and this. But at some point, the Detroit Lions have to understand that they are not the most powerful team in the NFL right now because of the injuries. David Montgomery going down might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. And that is why I do have them dropping so low. Also added to the injury list was Carlton Davis with the jaw issue, and McNeil with a torn ACL. So 3 more guys added on to their already 15, 16, 18 guys on the IR. But coming in at number 7 this week, I do have the Detroit Lions.
I like this. I think they deserve this drop, dude. They haven't played well as of late. I think at this point, we always say that best man up, but they're running out of players. And you can't really best man up when you don't have the players. At this point, they could only win by shootout, I think. They're the type of team that they have the talent on offense. So the only way they're going to win from going forward, I think, they can't rely on the defense at all. That's why the Lions went for that stupid onside kick, because they knew that Josh Allen was going to get the ball and he was going to score on them, and they didn't want to give the ball back. I know it was a stupid call, and this is kind of things that Campbell does. And so I think they deserve this drop.
Yeah, and just to add to your point there, Mark, the only reason why this game was legitimately close was because the Buffalo Bills did play a cover 2 prevent zone coverage in the whole fourth quarter, giving the Lions some ability to score. Afi, what are your thoughts about Lions to sit at number 7?
I think it's too far of a drop. I don't know exactly where I'd put them, but I think that's too far of a drop. I do, think that Dan Campbell, continues to make bonehead decisions. And, he's gotten away with it a lot this year, but this one, definitely got to him. It was something they couldn't overcome. It brings me back the thoughts to last year's playoff games. At a certain point, you got to take his headset away from him in games like these, because he's going to cost his team. And when you asked the question earlier, who needs to win and needs that number 1 seed more, this team has to play. The only away game they can win is in Minnesota. I think that's the only chance, because it's a dome. But this team has to have home field advantage in order for them to make the Super Bowl, and go from there. God, I can't even imagine Dan Campbell coaching in the Super Bowl. Guy's going to come out and win the toss and defer to the second half, and he's going to end up trying an onside kick to start the game.
Yeah, it would not shock me one bit. On the bright side, the Kansas City Chiefs did release Clyde Edwards-Helaire back on Monday, so maybe the Lions might pull some magic and pick him up, but he is dealing with some PTSD since last season, since he's been robbed. But we'll decide that later. Laura says, whoa, Buck, put down the man juice. They drop it down way too low. And Laura says, what? That's too big of a drop. Josh Olson says, I have the Lions at number 3. So, Josh, that tells me that the Lions would beat 27, 28 other teams in the NFL right now. I don't think they could beat the Minnesota Vikings right now. I don't think they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think they can beat the Buffalo Bills. Hell, I don't think they could beat the Green Bay Packers right now. The Lions are a decimated team, and they're not a very powerful, very good team right now. I'm not saying they haven't done great things. 12-2 is a great record, but you have to project moving forward, project looking forward into Week 16. They're not a very solid team right now. They're riddled with injuries. And Laura says, unfortunately, Buck, you are correct about the injuries. Of course I'm correct. I'm always correct. Jeez. Gosh.
Don't tell him that, Laura.
Jim says, Hoffy, are you okay? You look exasperated by this. If you ever won a Madden game, show up and practice in Detroit.
What the hell does that mean?
Means you look confused. Means you're upset. Means you're just like, really, Buck?
I get that part. What's the second part?
If you ever won a Madden game, show up. Because basically what he's saying, if you won a Madden game, that means you have some type of NFL skills. You have some NFL mindset. Come to the Detroit Lions practice facility, and they might have a spot for you because people keep dropping like flies.
Understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
Hey, I am 5'9".
Hoppy's a little slow.
I am 5'9", 250. I mean, I'm built like Derrick Henry, so hand me the
You
ball.
wish.
Hoffy, Derrick Henry is 6'3", 260. So just want to put that out there.
Right, but I got this. All right, we got the Hoffy height, but the Henry size.
You
Spoiler,
ain't nothing close, bro.
Spoiler, guys. Hoffy is 5'7", 145 pounds, soaking wet. Ryan says, I feel that the Vikings are the number 2 spot. When you know, you know. You really need to step back and look at their depth chart. It's a no-brainer. Ryan is high on his Vikings. You need to slow it down, baby. They coming. Or are they? Maybe they dropped out of the top 5. Who knows? Who knows? John says they do have the most points in the NFL because their defense is not very good. Just saying.
I told you, shootouts, man.
Shootouts, yeah.
What does offensive scoring have to do with defense?
Means our defense can't stop a bloody nose, Hoffy.
Yeah, I was going to say they have none.
I understand that, but just their offense is the highest scoring team because their defense is not good. That's not why their offense is the highest scoring team. Their offense is the highest scoring team because their offense is good.
He is saying that their offense has to score that many points to win games. Otherwise, they'll take the foot off the gas, right, and let it coast in there, right?
No cap.
So coming in at number 7, do have the Detroit Lions. Coming in at number 6, this team is red hot. This team has won 4 in a row. This team has actually won 6 of 8. This team has beaten the Falcons, beaten the Raiders, beaten the Browns, and beaten the Colts because Jonathan Taylor cannot hang on to the ball into the end zone. But that is the one and only Denver Broncos sitting at 9-5, currently second in the AFC West, and with the 89% chance of making the playoffs. Coming at number 6, Mark, I do have your Denver Broncos.
All right, I know Hoffy's going to crap all over this ranking. I'm just waiting for it, but I'm going to say my good things about my team. Okay, I'm going to take my orange glasses off. Okay, I know that we haven't played well the last 2 weeks, but you know what? We still won those games. And let me just give you 2 stats for us. We are the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, and we're also tied. We're tied for the number 1 scoring defense, and we lead the NFL in sacks. Our defense is balling right now, and they literally win us games.
Collect your thoughts, Hoffy. Collect your thoughts.
I think the only thing hotter than the Denver Broncos right now is Mark's right hand.
Okay.
But yes, unfortunately I continue to dog on his Broncos or his ponies every single week. But yeah, they belong in the top 10. I hate to admit it.
Ooh, I can't believe I just heard that.
Oh God.
So
I gotta go wash my mouth out with soap now.
let me speak a little highly on the Denver Broncos right now, Mark, because the Buffalo Bills, right, are a team that potentially the Denver Broncos could be playing in the playoffs, right? A very, very real possibility. If the Chargers continue to lose out, the Chargers will have to play the Buffalo Bills, which would be a blessing in disguise for the Buffalo Bills. The good thing about the Denver Broncos is they have one of the best defenses, like you just said. I believe it was the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. And they are definitely a top 10 overall defense as well. The Broncos play good defense, and their offense is starting to come around. They are going to be a team that you may not, you don't want to play in the playoffs. If the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos play in the first round of the playoffs, we could be seeing upsets of all upsets. Let's just be flat out honest. Because the Buffalo Bills defense right now is trash. The Denver Broncos offense is coming around. They're nickel and diming you down the field. They're running the ball. Bo Nix is being smart, and they're winning with defense. That is how you beat the Buffalo Bills.
And what about special teams? Marvin Mims had a day last Sunday, almost running it back. Come on, man. He's been killer all year for us, getting good field position. That helps in the game of inches. Hoffy.
Yeah.
Do you know what you have to do in the playoffs, though? You have to play teams with winning records.
And we're ready for that.
Clearly, you're not, because you haven't won one game yet against a team with a winning record.
Yet is the key
word. Well, we're going to have to. We
Yet.
have no choice in the playoffs, so bring it on.
Yeah. Yet. So, guys, coming in at number 6, I do have the Denver Broncos. Laura says, unfortunately, I have to agree with the Broncos. Spot on. Not sucking up, I promise. Nacho says, there is no way Denver is better than the Rams. The Rams have beaten the Minnesota and the Bills. Nacho, I bet you head-to-head right now that the Broncos would beat the LA Rams. It wouldn't be a blowout. It would be a 10-9, 17-10 type of score. The Denver Broncos defense is the real deal. Real deal. Jim Powell says the Denver Broncos blank wiener. Must means suck wiener? Like waiter? I don't know. It is what it is. Josh Olson says, my final score prediction for that game was almost exactly correct, but they took away the Jonathan Taylor touchdown. Josh, let me tell you this.
What an idiot move, man.
First of all, why are NFL players not, or players in general, why are you dropping the ball before you get to the end zone? I feel if you want to talk about rigged NFL, that is rigged. Like, you are a freaking 29-year-old running back that you've been doing this your whole life and you fumble. Like, come on. That honestly, Mark, that could have changed the whole game. We could have been talking about the Denver Broncos being outside of the top 10 if Jonathan Taylor would have scored that touchdown. But I digress.
No, Buck, that did change the game, because as soon as he did that, everybody was shocked that he even did it. Right. We get the ball and we go on to score 24 points the rest of the game to win. So that was a big momentum booster. So yeah, that completely changed the game.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't understand how you cannot go past. Like, it is like getting to work, walking into work, looking at your boss like, I'm not feeling it, and just like walk out. Like like what? Like, come on.
It's like calling in sick from the break room.
Right.
We see this so much now. This shouldn't even happen in Pop Warner anymore. I mean,
right.
This should be like your first day of practice. Take the ball out of the goddamn end zone.
You know what my motto is on my team? Head on the goalpost. After you score, go hit your head on the goalpost. Like that, like ball and everything. Go touch the goalpost. Tedrick Webb says, my Vikings are getting that number 1 seed. Slow it down, baby. We're getting ready to jump into the top 5. We have not said the Vikings yet, but they're getting closer, getting close. Ryan says, we are the sleeper team. Ryan is all about his Vikings today. He says, we are the sleeper team. Vikings, you know you need to lose a few games, Vegas. Sheesh. John says, Peyton has definitely turned around the Denver Broncos this year 100%. And honestly, Mark, I had my doubts about Sean Payton. Like, after the whole Russell Wilson
Me too, bro. Me too. I did too.
I was like, maybe old school, new school doesn't quite mix. But, guys, let's go ahead and recap a little bit of our top 10 here. Coming in at number 10, we do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coming in at number 9, we do have the Pittsburgh Steelers dropping this week's rankings. Going up is the Baltimore Ravens from 8 to 9, or from 9 to 8 are the Baltimore Ravens. Moving down, our biggest follower are the Detroit Lions down to the 7th seed. Moving up from 7 to 6 are the Denver Broncos. And coming in at number 5 is a team that is a Super Bowl favorite team. A team that is arguably one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC playoff picture. This team has won 4 of the last 5, beating the Bears, 49ers, Dolphins, and Seahawks. Their only loss coming to the Detroit Lions on a field goal, but that is the 10-4 Green Bay Packers, currently sitting at 3rd in the NFC North. Number 5, breaking the top 5, Green Bay Packers.
All right, I've been down on the Packers before, but I think this is a good spot for them. I think right now they're hot, they're healthy, and they've turned themselves into a power run team. I think Josh Jacobs has been killing it for them. I think the game against the Seahawks last week was like over by like the second drive. That's how good this run game is. Another stat for you is they've been 8-2 since the start of October. And last thing I'm going to say is I think Matt LaFleur is an underrated coach. I think he's really good. I think he's one of those Sean McVay guys, but he's different because he cares more about the run than McVay and Shanahan may do.
Hoffy.
Buck, you were right last year when you said that this, Green Bay team was going to be good or they were going to be bad. They were good. They nearly beat my 49ers in the playoffs. But I think you've been dogging on Jordan Love this year, you and Mark both. So, I agree with this spot, but I'm not going to allow you to call this team a Super Bowl team when you've been dogging on my boy Jordan Love all season. Yes, they're a Super Bowl team, but you are not allowed. You are not allowed to call them that.
When have I been dogging on Jordan Love? I mean, just because he throws the ball to the other team a lot the last few games, I mean, that's not really dogging.
Point proven.
Those are just facts. Those are just the facts, though.
You can't go call him a Super Bowl team when you're going to dog on my guy for throwing interceptions.
Sorry, I forgot you were a Josh Allen fan. My bad. Interceptions are a good thing.
Tua, get it right.
Laura says, unfortunately, I have to say thank you, Green Bay Packers, for winning last night. Yeah. With that win, the Vikings have secured their playoff spot. So bada bing, bada boom. Ryan says, when the Vikings, here we go, all about the Vikings. We'll be talking about the Vikings soon. Ryan. Jim Powell says, Jacobs should be running like a tank. He's rested the whole last season with the Raiders. Not wrong. And Jesus
Hey,
and
one
King,
side note, the Broncos tried to get Josh Jacobs, and he didn't sign with us. He ended up going to the Packers.
Yeah, and now he's going to win a Super Bowl ring. He's going to win a Super Bowl ring. Jesus and King says, Jesus loves you so much he took up the cross, and that's why I worship Buddha, not Jesus. But it is what it is. But coming in at number 5, we do have the Green Bay Packers. Now, coming in at number 4, we have one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. A team that can beat you on any given Sunday. Luck or not, this team is top dog. The only reason why I have them down at number 4 and not number 1 is because of an injury of the one Patrick Mahomes. Meaning I think they're going to take a couple steps back these following weeks to get Patrick Mahomes nice and rested. But that is the 13-1, the best record in the NFL, number 1 in the NFC, your 3-peat champions, coming in at number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wah, wah. That's what I think about your Chiefs. All right, Buck. Okay, they are 13-1, but your boy Mahomes is nursing an ankle injury. Is he going to be back this week, or is it going to be Carson? The only thing I'm going to really say good about them is that this year they're 10-0 when the games are decided by a touchdown or less, which is what championship teams need to do, and that's why they've won so many games. But I will say, the whole reason why Mahomes is hurt is because their offensive tackles are an issue. They need to get that fixed, or he's going to have a long days in the playoffs.
Buck, you are so biased, it's not even funny. You talk about the Cowboys being Super Bowl champs, saying that this Kansas City Chiefs team is the best team in the NFL.
No, the most dangerous. The most dangerous, not the best, the most dangerous.
You got to watch yourself. Because this injury is going to hurt them. They're going to, you might as well kiss that number 1 seed goodbye. That, you're going to have to go into Buffalo, and you're going to have to play in 3 feet of snow, and you're going to have to beat Josh Allen for, in Buffalo. And we saw what happened when they faced off this, earlier this season. I expect much of the same. So you might as well kiss your most dangerous team season and 3-peat goodbye, because it ain't happening. Gather your thoughts.
I'm just lost for words because
you know I'm right.
No, because you think
we're toxic.
Just because you think the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Patriots. You think the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Jets. It's not going to happen. The Buffalo Bills are going to drop a game, and then all the Kansas City Chiefs need to do is win one game, and then bada bing, bada boom, number 1 seed, baby.
Your Chiefs aren't even going to win their first game of the playoffs.
It doesn't matter.
You're telling me that the Bills aren't going to beat that crap sandwich of 2 Patriot games and then the Jets in between? They're gonna eat that crap sandwich, dude. Come on.
Our Patriots coach and offensive coordinator are still probably in the press conference fighting. I mean, those 2 games are gimmies. I mean, but let's be real. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to either get the 2 seed or 1 seed. If they get the 2 seed, they're losing their first game of the playoffs to the Denver Broncos.
Now you're just
there. You go, Mark.
Now,
there you go.
Now you're just talking crazy because I think the Denver Broncos will end up as a 6 seed because they play the Chargers this.
All right, Baltimore.
This week.
How's that? That really gonna tickle your tail feathers.
They wouldn't play Baltimore. They'd be playing the Chargers, and we all know the Chargers are pretty bad right now. And then in the second round,
no offensive weapons, man.
And in the second round, they would be playing the Houston Texans yet again, which is going to beat on Saturday. And then they're going to go into Buffalo. Actually, they won't be going into Buffalo because the Denver Broncos will be beating the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. So,
oh god,
it is what it is.
Now I know you're full of it.
But Jim Powell says Andy Reid doesn't need Mahomes, but it doesn't make the what? The vital? What does it even mean? I don't know what that word means. Sorry, Jim. Autocorrect. Alpha Rob says, kiss that number 1 seed goodbye, Buck. And Laura is sucking up to Hoffy, says, I can get behind Hoffy on that one.
She's been sucking up to me all night long.
I know, because you need some sucking up to, apparently. But
why?
Cute.
I don't know. You're not cute at all. But that's besides the point.
Josh White told me.
Josh Olson says Mahomes might play this week if not Carson is ready to play, and Andy Reid has told the media how good he is.
He was a full participant in practice, so that does say something.
Let's just be honest. If the Chiefs were smart, and if Patrick Mahomes is 85% or less, they should sit him, right?
I was just going to ask you that.
The rest of the year?
Till week 18, till we play the Broncos and whoop that ass. But yeah.
Okay, because I'm gonna be in the house that night, so I want Mahomes to play.
Yeah, so we can put a 50 burger on you.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah. No. Not with me in the house, Buck.
Buck, as a fan, do you want him to take these next 2 weeks off?
I want him to take at least 1 game off because these 3 games in 11 days is not ideal for anybody, right? VJ Watt probably needs to take a game off. Patrick Mahomes needs to take a game or 2 off. Yes, me fully as a fan, we already have the AFC locked up. Or sorry, the AFC West locked up. We're not going to drop below a 2 seed. So what does it really matter, right? And if the Buffalo Bills happen to lose 1 game to the Patriots or the Jets, we can win 1 game versus the Denver Broncos week 18 with Patrick Mahomes, who lock up that number 1 overall seed. Me as a fan, I want to see him sit, mainly because I want to see what Carson Wentz has, right? What happens if that ankle does get rolled up again in the playoffs? That's the big thing.
So wait, you want him to play the best D in NFL right now? You want Mahomes to play that team? Okay.
Yeah. Just to show you what's what.
Come on, Mark.
Let's go,
I'm
Bills.
okay. Bring his weak ass ankles to Denver. I'm okay.
Let's go, Bills says, who do you think the number 1 in the NFL is? We're coming up. We're coming up on that. Let's go, Bills. We're sitting at number 4 right now. Laura says, read my comment before the Hoffy comment. Laura says, Kansas City is going to be in timeout these next few weeks. That injury is going to possibly cost a game or 2. Sorry, not sorry. It's not going to cost them any games because they can beat the Houston Texans with a backup quarterback. The Texans are not very good. They can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers with Carson Wentz, running the ball, nickel and dime it down the field. I'm just saying what it is. But coming in at number 4, I do have the Kansas City Chiefs. Now,
there's a reason why he's a backup.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but he's also been on
MVP.
He is MVP. But coming in at number 3 is one of the hottest teams in the NFL. A team that says, come here, boy, let me wax that ass. And that is the one and only, the Whiteout Kings, Minnesota Vikings, sitting at 12-2 on the season, tied for first in the NFC North, tied for first in the NFC playoffs, winners of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row, coming in number 3, cracking the top 5 for the first time this season in NFL Power Ranking Bucks edition. Minnesota Vikings?
I think they deserve. We were talking about last week that they should maybe possibly be higher on the list, and you've gone and done it, Buck. They are higher on the list, and I gotta agree with you. They are playing hot. But I'm glad that you mentioned those whiteout uniforms. I gotta admit, I thought they were pretty fugly, if you ask me.
What?
They didn't look like Vikings uniforms to me. They look like some college team. Sorry, just my opinion. But okay, so the Vikings, they've been on a 7-game winning streak. You got to give that to them. Like, that's really good. They've been 7-1 in one-score games. That's really good. And also, you got to talk about their defense. They're number 3 in takeaways, and their defense is number 2 against the run. That's awesome. And then you got to give credit to Kevin O'Donnell. I think he's a very good coach, man. I got to give it to him.
Coach of the year.
I think the whiteout jerseys were fire. I was digging them. But yeah, I think KOC, Kevin O'Connell, is great for that offense. What he's doing with Sam Darnold, I think he's comeback player of the year. Brian Flores has this defense balling out. This defense can get after the quarterback. This is a solid team. The only thing that I worry about is them in the playoffs, having to go, to Philadelphia and playing in a game where they can't just, they have to watch their footing and be careful as to their first steps and stuff like that. Whereas on the turf field, they can just pin the ears back and get after them. I think this is a team, again, much like the Lions, that has to be playing on, indoor stadium. I think they can go into a team like Tampa Bay or the Rams where it's, nicer weather. But I don't think that this team could beat Philadelphia in Philly. So they need to get this number 1 seed.
Yeah, and I want to tell you guys the reason why I have them at number 3 and not higher like many people like Ryan has been all night. They're the second best team. They're the second best team is because of Sam Darnold, right? We saw Sam Darnold miss a lot of easy throws last night. Let's just be flat honest. There were a lot of wide open passes that he flat out missed. I do understand. I think it was the second quarter when he hit his thumb or his pinky on the guy's helmet, and that definitely may have affected him moving forward. But when JJ runs a 5-yard out route and you're on the near hash and you flat out just miss him, that is a recipe.
But don't
for
forget
disaster.
about Justin Jefferson's drop though too. He never does that. I thought that was strange.
Yeah, well, it was a fly on the left side in the end zone, right? In the breadbasket, and just dropped it, right? So the Vikings are still a flawed team, right? Let's not get crazy. Most teams in the NFL are flawed, but the Vikings, 3 of their biggest flaws right now is the durability of Sam Darnold. Can he win a playoff game? He has never been to the playoffs. Can he actually win a playoff game as a starter? Can the Vikings go on the road and win? They're not a very good road team. We have seen it. They lost to the Rams earlier this season, right? And they just don't play top-notch football on the road like they have been at home. And then number 3, their inability to really put the nail in the coffin. They let teams hang around all the time. They had the opportunity to blow out the Chicago Bears, but Justin Jefferson's drop, just like you said, Mark, the missed passes, right, and the missed tacklings, and you allowed the Chicago Bears hang around, and they also play up and they play down to their competition. So that is I guess 4 flaws with the Minnesota Vikings. But guys, I do have them at number 3. I'm going to get ridiculed by being a homer. You hate the Vikings. I've been deemed as Viking hater, and I don't understand why. I told you guys they were going to drop 2 games in a row, and they did. But hey, it is what it is.
But Buck, I hate agreeing with you, but I think you're right. I think Sam Darnold is one of those quarterbacks. He is slow to start. I think that is part of the reason why their team is slow to start. So if he can get a faster start, they might be better.
Yeah, I think the fastest start they had this season when they jumped out to the Lions was it 14-0 early, or no, it was the Packers game. They jumped out quickly 14-0, but they almost lost that game. So it was crazy. Josh Olson says the Vikings have played an easy or a soft schedule for many, many weeks now. I have them at number 7. Wow, that is low.
Did he misspell the Denver Broncos there?
Did I? I don't know. Did I forget to put trash can there? Oh, not bad. Laura says, I heard he had a pinky injury going into that game too. Sucks to sucks. Alpha Rob says 12 is going to strike on the Cinderella Sam Darnold soon. Is it a Cinderella story though? Do you guys think this Sam Darnold playing this season is the Sam Darnold that we expected to play coming out of USC, or is he actually a Cinderella, Mark?
That's a good question because the Cinderella usually just means like one really good season. So if he goes somewhere else, like let's say he doesn't stay in Minnesota and he goes somewhere else and he has a crap season, so then then it would be a Cinderella story. But the question is unanswered, and then we have to wait. This is a wait and see, and we have to wait and see to see what he does and where he goes, if he stays, if he goes somewhere else and fails.
Right. Yeah, and Laura says I don't think they played their best game last night either. They did not. I mean, they definitely started out hot, but they kind of tinkered off really, really quick. But coming in at number 3, I do have the Minnesota Vikings. Now, coming in at number 2. Coming in at number 2 is a very, very hot team. A team that has won 8 of their last 9. A team that beat down the mighty Detroit Lions. When I say beat down, yes, they did beat down the Detroit Lions. They dominated every aspect of that game. However, they did lose to the Rams the previous week, but then they did beat the Chiefs, the Colts, Dolphins, Seahawks, Titans, Jets in the previous weeks before that. Many people are saying they're good, but who have they played? Right? That's kind of the common theme of the power rankings so far this season. Yeah, they're good, but who have they really played? But coming in at number 2 this week's power rankings, moving up from 4 to number 2 is 11-3. First in the AFC East, I should say, the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, I said off air to you, Buck, that I didn't like this ranking. I think they should be number 1. I know I don't want to give away who the number 1 team is, but Buffalo Bills should be number 1. They've beaten the 2 best teams in the NFL, your Chiefs and the Lions. They have the 2 best records in the NFL. They beat them both. Granted, they have struggled against teams like the Rams, but I think it's because they don't really have a really good defense. Their defense is going to hurt them down the road because they are where's the stats that I have? Their defense the Rams and Detroit both went up and down the field on them. Like they can't do that in the playoffs. They can't let teams just score all over them if they expect to win.
So you are telling me that their defense is the issue, and that's why they should be number 1?
No, I'm just saying that like they have issues, but I just feel like that is their only issue. They should be number 1. I don't want to say who the number 1 team is.
So they have issues on defense. That is a third of the team or third of the game. Okay, but okay, Hoffy, I'm not going to challenge anymore. Hoffy, what are your thoughts about your Buffalo Bills being at number 2?
Yeah, I mean they're solid offensively, but their defense has been suspect. They've shown flashes, but I don't think they've played a complete game defensively. So yeah, I don't believe that they should be, number 1. I think the team that you have number 1 deserves to be there.
Yeah, and to say they haven't played a complete game, I do think the defense played a complete game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Buffalo Bills in general, the whole team stepped up to kind of dominate the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
I stand corrected. That was the one and only game, I think.
Yeah.
They only gave up 10 to Tennessee, but that's not a good team.
Right.
But as far as, Miami, they gave up 27. Indy, they gave up 20. The Rams gave up 44 points, 42 to Detroit. But yeah, the one and only game that they can ride on their defense and say that they did good was the Kansas City game.
Yeah. So coming at number 2, I do have the Buffalo Bills. Coming at number 1, this is a team that I had number 1 two weeks ago, but then I dropped them down because of the inner fighting that was in mainstream news for all last week on Man Hour. That's A.J. Brown versus Jalen Hurts. That beef quickly got squashed. I mean, they said, bad baby, let's go. But this team now has won 10 games in a row over the Browns, over the Giants, Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, Commanders, Rams, the Ravens, the Panthers, and now the most recently victim are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is a 12-2, first in the NFC East, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, as I said before, I don't think they should be number 1. I think the Eagles are the most dysfunctional but most successful team in the NFL. Like, despite all their drama with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, all this stuff that they've had, all their last year, all their drama they had with Nick Sirianni, all this stuff, but they keep winning. They still have a great roster. The GMs keep making great moves. And then, you got to give it to them. They're playing good. They're on a 10-game winning streak. You can't you got to give that respect. No matter, we always talk about hey, you haven't played this team. They haven't played anybody, but you play whoever's in front of your schedule, and they've been dominating, and you got to give that to them.
Yeah, they have the longest active winning streak in the NFL right now. So I think that's why they do deserve to be number one. But I do find it funny that every Monday, Tuesday, we're talking about, is this it for the Eagles? Are they falling apart? The beginning of the season, it was Nick Sirianni, and now it's the drama between Hurts and AJ Brown, and what's going to happen next week after this game against Washington. What's going to be the storyline there? It seems like every week there's a new story, and it's never a good story. But this team, week after week, continues to put their differences or drama or whatever you want to call it to the side and go out there and whoop that ass. So I think that, the Eagles do deserve to be the number one seed.
Yeah, so guys,
or the number one in power rankings, excuse me.
Yeah. So when you guys look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they have the best rushing attack in the NFL, averaging 162.2 yards per game with 26 touchdowns. They have the sixth ranked total offense. Top-notch offense. Now let's flash over to the defense. Mark, they have the best defense in the NFL. They have the they have the best pass defense, only giving up 173 yards per game. They have the seventh best rushing defense, giving up 102 yards per game. And you talk about scoring defense, they are the number one scoring defense in the NFL, tied with your Denver Broncos at 17.6 per game. However, they have given up 26 touchdowns to the Broncos 24. But the only weak part about this whole Philadelphia Eagles team is their passing offense, which are ranked 31st in the NFL. That is terrible, right? But when you have Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Gainwell damn near getting 200 yards every game, why pass the ball? Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are the most dominant team in the NFL. Just like Coffee said, every Monday, every Tuesday. I sit here. What did AJ Brown say now? What did Jalen Hurts say now? Who did Kevin Sirianni holler at now? Spoiler alert: it was the offensive line coach. Every week it is dysfunctional out in public, but yet they keep winning, and they keep winning. Guys, this is a championship caliber team. If this team is not in the Super Bowl, I want to be very, very shocked. Barring some epic collapse in the next 3 weeks, this is a Super Bowl team. They are number one this week's. Mark, you still don't agree, do you? Even though those stats are out there, you still don't agree.
I think they're a great team, Buck. I've been high on the Eagles. You know this. I've been high on them. I think their dysfunctionality at some point might come and bite them in the butt. Who knows if they can handle these problems, if they can just handle them in-house and they don't air out their laundry like they know how. But if they could do that, I think they could be successful. But I don't know, man. You never know.
So Jim says, there was no drama, manufactured soap opera by the corrupted media. So basically, Jim is saying we are trying to make something out of nothing. And Jim, I want to challenge your opinion on that, because Brandon Graham is the one that said that. It was not a read in between the lines, a piece together quote. Brandon Graham said that from start to finish. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown hate each other. I don't know what happened, but they hate each other now. That was Brandon Graham's word for word. How is that manufactured? It come out and they said it, right? Ryan says the Vikings injury list looks great. That's the one thing that looks great about the Vikings. I'm kidding. Alpha Rob says the Eagles are okay, but Jalen Hurts doesn't scare anyone. And honestly, that's probably the way they want it, Alpha Rob. They don't want Jalen Hurts to be the top guy, right? Hoffy, what are your thoughts about that?
The dude benches like 500 pounds and squats like 1,000 pounds. I don't think anyone is not afraid of Jalen Hurts.
I think they're mean by his
but-
passing abilities, Javi. Come on, who cares about weights?
Dude, come on. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. Yes, I think he's more. His legs are a better asset to him than his arm. But I still think that with the weapons that he has in his tight end, and then his two offensive weapons on the outside, in Smith and Brown, I think that this offense is. This offense is a well-oiled machine. You got Barkley, you got two great offensive wide receivers. You got a pretty solid, tight end. The offensive line isn't playing all that bad, and then that defense is balling. So I think anything less than a Super Bowl appearance from this Philadelphia Eagles would be a failure of a season.
Hafi, I think you're wrong, man. I think you can't say that Jalen Hurts is a really good passer, because if he was a really good passer, they'd be passing the ball more, and they're not. Because even A.J. Brown is one of his best friends is coming out and saying that the passing game needs to be better. And I'm just going to give you an example of that. Jalen Hurts has never been a really good passer. Does anybody remember the national championship game that he got taken out of the game for Tua because Tua could throw the ball better, and they ended up winning the game because nobody was threatened by Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. And in the NFL, it's the same thing.
I mean, didn't he have in his MVP season only like two interceptions?
I mean, he had a good year that year passing, but I'm just saying, over his whole career, he hasn't been great at passing the ball.
Yeah, and Mark, I thought the same thing, right? I believe it was earlier this season. It may have been last season, right? I was very, very down on Jalen Hurts. Like, I thought he was just a product of the system. I thought he was bad. But if you go back and you look at the stats, if you actually look at the stats for Jalen Hurts, passing yards, passing percentage, touchdowns to interception, he gets better each and every year. Now, this year might be totally different, right? Their passing's way down, but you have Saquon Barkley. Why not use him and abuse him, right? Much like the Ravens should be doing with Derrick Henry, but they're not. But we digress. But use and abuse Saquon Barkley. His window is 2 years, maybe 3 years tops. Then Jalen Hurts can be that elite top 10 quarterback that people think he can be, right? So,
and they're playing ahead in a lot of these games, so they're killing the clock. They're pounding the ball. They haven't had to. They're not playing from behind and having to, throw the ball 40 something times a game. If you can have Jalen Hurts throw the ball 18 to 25 times, hand the ball off, just as many times to Barkley, and then have Jalen Hurts also run the ball, run the option. I think that's exactly what this Eagles team should be doing, and I think that's how this team is built.
Mark, any final thoughts before we head to the comments?
I think Javi is right on that, because that's what they've been doing. They keep him limited to his passing. They want him to only throw like 25, 28 times a game. They want to run Saquon the ball. They want to keep him, like you said, he's got a 2-year window. They're gonna use him up. So yeah, but I still don't think like he's a great passer, and I think that's gonna hurt them later down the road, because they're gonna have to pass on some teams that are really good on defense.
But they do have one of the best defenses in the NFL, so only time will tell if that does happen. Alpha Rob says playoff teams going to make Hurts throw the ball.
Yep.
I think teams have been trying to make Hurts throw the ball, but Saquon Barkley just hurdles the competition no matter how many guys you have in the box. Like, he's having an MVP year.
That ain't no.
Yeah.
If they're running slants 7 to 8 yard pass plays, that's where Jalen Hurts is going to be successful. He's not going to be someone like Patrick Mahomes that's throwing the ball 25 yards and being successful. He is a short, intermediate passer that can kill you with his legs, and then you got Saquon Barkley as well.
Yeah. Speaking of killing with those legs, those 37-inch quads that he freaking has. Good Lord, those things are thick-ass quads. But, guys, that is it for our NFL Power Ranking show. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. But if you are a Pigskin Pundit, if you are a member over here on Facebook or on YouTube, you click that subscribe button and you want to hang with us. As soon as we end this show, we're going to start the after hour show. So if you guys, there will be a link in the description or actually in the pinned comments. You guys can join the talk. We can talk with Mark. Hoffy, I think you're probably going to go to bed, but Hoffy might be there for like a little while. You never know. But
Come on.
we're going to hang out for about 10, 20 minutes, guys, after show.
Only if Laura comes.
But she will come.
Oh, shoot. All right, I'm in.
But until then, guys, live, raw, uncut NFL talk. We'll see you Wednesday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. We out.